Welcome to SethCraft. It's time to continue working on this 10 by 12 building. In this video, it's sheathing time, both on the outside walls and for the roof. So if you're interested in that, continue watching. Last night, a hurricane dumped a bunch of water on this structure, and so we want to get the roof on as soon as possible. That being the case, we need to have some support to this structure. So this back wall that has no windows or doors, we're going to sheathe that first and then do this side over here, and that will give us enough strength to this building so that we can climb up on the roof and get this thing weathered in. All right, so let's go ahead and get what we need back here. Now our back wall was cut down to 7 feet, so we're going to do some measuring and marking on our OSB, and we want to have 1.5 inch overhang below our bottom OSB down here. So we're going to take that into consideration as well. We want to make sure we cut our OSB to fit underneath the rafter right here and have 1.5 inch overhang below the OSB on the bottom. So I'm going to measure right up here, and we have got 86.5 inches. All right, we want to measure and mark this at 86.5 inch. We'll just go up to the top there. So I'll get my screw over here put in first. Are you pretty centered the whole way down on that board? Yep. Okay, let's fill it up. From this corner right here, we've added 1 extra board, so we have the sheet land on 4 foot. We had some mishap over here with our calculations, and so this right here is going to be the 4 foot mark, and we can go all the way up 8 foot right here, and then at this rafter right here, it's going to start cutting down to 87.5 inches right here, and that should give us the triangle we need. So I'm going to go over 11.5 inches from this side, and then this edge over here was 87.5 inches. Which is 1 inch above. 87.5. So now I can take a straight edge and make a line between those two. Watch out for that wrapped up power cord. It'll trip you.
Trippy, man.
Whoa, it's tripped us.
Because I did something without telling you. All right.
We should try to put as many obstacles at our feet as possible. Back wall is totally done. We have 1 sheet of OSB over here on this side now. For stability purposes, I'm going to get this last piece right here on the front. Once that is done, we should be secure enough to hop up on the roof to get the OSB up there done. So last here, it's going to be similar to the one over there, except we're going to just measure from right here, get this angle, and we will stop right in here on this stud. 8 foot there, and then immediately starts going down to, honestly, I think 87 is what we should go to there. I'm going to use the factory edge at the door. So let's go over here, 38.5 inches. At the 38.5 inch mark, I want this to be 87 inches. Go all the way from this far corner to this point right here. Now with this extra piece here on this side, I am comfortable with the structure's integrity for hopping up on the roof. For the roof OSB, we're going to use some stop blocks, and that's just simply a block of wood screwed to the end here, and that will allow the OSB to not fall off the roof and also be in the correct position. Now ideally we would stagger the boards up here, but we're going to go all the way to the end of our eave here, and that means we're going to have to cut 6 pieces at 7 foot, so they will end here all together here. So there won't be any staggered boards or staggered OSB, but it's going to work out just fine. So I'm going to cut 3 of these at 7 foot. We're going to hoist up this sheet of OSB, get it into position here, and we're just using some 2-inch screws to lock everything down. I can come my way about a ½ inch or so. This is an H-clip. It's going to give the proper spacing between the next sheet up and this previous one. So I'm just going to install this in between each of these open gaps, just like this. Something to that effect. We have just wrapped up the rest of the OSB on the roof here, and it is beginning to sprinkle. So we're going to wrap up the roof real quick with some underlayment. This is a black underlayment here. It's made to have these pop or plastic cap nails right here. And so we're going to do that and then get off of this roof. And I have got you on the GoPro now, so if the audio is changed, that is the main reason. So we'll line up the edge of our building with this gray line, and that'll keep us at where we need to be there.
You want to fasten that corner down?
Yeah, I can do one down here real quick. Okay, and now if you'll just begin rolling.
Rolling, rolling, rolling.
Let me get a razor knife real quick. Sadly, we were shy of about 2 feet up at the top. We're gonna have to go to the store and buy more underlayment. We continue to work after dark, so I didn't bring you along here on this camera. But let me show you what we have finished. We've got the sheathing done on this side up to this point right here, which we'll have to tackle here next. We also have to get these triangles done up here, this one piece right on this side, and then we also worked over here to get the 2 full sheets and then a 2-foot section of OSB here in the middle. And we're off by about 1 inch right here. I either zap that off or just cut around it. But we have to get this little triangle here as well, and the sheathing will be done. For the sake of making this cut easy, I'm going to go from this edge over here, right about there, to this far triangle over here. And we have 82 1/4. And then I just need to measure up from this board here to the top there at the end and get that cut. So I can basically just have one triangle across here. I'm going to cut this triangle out of the scrap piece we were using to make the headers. So we need 82.5 inch. Over here I need 34.5. All right, now to see how I did. Hopefully it's a one cut wonder. I'm about a 1/4 inch off on this side right here. I'll have to zip that off with the circular saw. But for now, I can go ahead and get these pieces right here. And it looks like we are at 22.25 there. Screws in there. Make my way about a board's length.
Ain't no fingers stuck in there.
Just completed sheathing this building, so we just wrapped up right up here, and then also got the last little triangle that was over on this side. Turned out pretty good, and had a little bit of an offset right over here. We've just cut around that. Everything is good. Now, before we go ahead and wrap up this building with the Tyvek, I need to cut out the OSB for the windows. So there's going to be one here, and we'll have to come over here and cut out these other two on this side. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Before the Tyvek is put on the outside of the sheathing, I'm going to cut out each of these windows. Now, I'm going to be using my circular saw to cut out. So I need to have my lines drawn on the outside. So to find those lines, I'm going to use some screws, and I'm going to find the corners, and I'm going to place a screw through the OSB that I can then use to make marks from the outside. Sometimes one of these extenders is helpful to go ahead and get this screw put into the corner. With those screws poking out the back side of the OSB, I can use my straight edge against these screws, and I can make this line, and that'll show us exactly where this cut needs to be made. I've set the depth of my saw to the depth of the OSB. I'm going to do something called a plunge cut, and that's where I put my saw guide right here on the line, and then I look at the blade and I see that it's also matched up with the line, and then I'm just going to plunge into the wood. For a close-up look of this plunge cut, once again, match up the top of my saw right here, pull my guard back, line up the line to the blade, and then plunge. Yeah, punch it from that side. Whew. It's impressive.
I thought it was more connected. I thought it was anyway. See? That's what I thought it was gonna do.
I just finished getting the 3 windows cut out, and I have to admit, pretty good job. Only spot I saw was this one right here, about 1/8 of an inch off, but we've got plenty of room to spare. So everything else was real flush. So one key thing whenever you're making your marks, put your straight edge on the bottom or outside edge before you mark, and that will get you right where you want to be here. Now that the windows have been cut out, it's time to get the Tyvek house wrap installed. Now I've got this 9-foot roll here. I'm not sure how much is left. So we're going to start with the window walls so that we can get that cut out and then work on windows next. So if we don't get it all done today, I'll show you what it looks like here whenever we purchase some more of that. But all right, let's first start with this wall and then move on over to this one here. Okay, And then we'll come over here and match this bottom up. So I'll hold this if you want to, you can let the top fall if you want. So go like a 1/4 inch or so, maybe right in there.
Okay.
Okay, and now this should stay consistent around here. Yep. That's close enough. Okay. We're using these little plastic cap nails to make sure this doesn't blow away. We had just enough of this Tyvek to get 3 sides covered. So we'll have to come back here and cut off a little bit of this triangle up here. We'll have to get a bit more for up here. And then the back wall doesn't have any on it so far, as you can see right here. But this gives us the option to go ahead and start installing some windows before we get the rest of this Tyvek. And then over here on the front side, we were able to get all the way to this edge over here. So as you can see, it is, for the most part, wrapped with Tyvek. Thank you so much for watching this video about doing our sheathing and getting the Tyvek on. If you've enjoyed it, hit that thumbs up button and be sure to subscribe. Stay tuned for the next video in this series where we're going to be doing some more work here to get this 10 by 12 done. I'm Seth with SethCraft, and I will see you in the next video.